How about that?
Test, hey.
Testing. Yeah, there you go.
I didn't think you wanted to hear me out there, man. Okay, so again, the pickleball ball in the park is started. Courts, parking started. Blacktopping is done. I don't know if everybody's noticed, about 3 weeks ago now it's actually been, that they completed their blacktopping for the year. I also want to say thanks to the Milton Landing Committee. The Milton Landing Committee donated 3 metal park benches for down at the landing itself, and I believe Gail's trying to get them to get a few more for us down there. These are quite expensive, these benches. I think they spent with shipping over $3,000 just for the 3. So, but they're heavy-duty steel, like benches that aren't going to rot. They're not going to be moved. So you need a bunch of people. So thanks to the Milton Landing Committee. I also want to thank our Recreational Committee for the outstanding job they're doing with the concerts in the park. You know, there's always a few little hiccups and people complain about certain things, but that's part of doing events. But the concerts in the park are going very well. Last Friday they had the rock concerts, right? So, and this week is the final week, and we're having a big fireworks show this Friday, and it's a tribute to Marlborough musicians this week. So a lot of food trucks. I don't know if you want to elaborate a little, Sharon or Dave.
Yeah, there are 3 food trucks this week, 3 bands. All of them are headliners, so there's no opening act. There are 3 headliners in a row. They're all based out of Marlborough. And then the fireworks are scheduled for 9 o'clock, and the 3rd headliner goes on right after the fireworks. So there will be 2 bands prior, fireworks at 9, and then the 3rd band will take off right after the fireworks. Cousin's Maine Lobster is one of the food trucks this week, which I know is always a very popular one for people, so that'll be there. What else, Dave? What am I missing?
I actually think there's 3 food trucks and 1 dessert truck this last concert.
So you'll be well fed.
Yeah.
Pizza guys there again. Waffle truck? I think it's a waffle.
It might be the waffle truck. Yeah, you're right.
I think Mr. Softy's coming for
Mr.
dessert.
Softy.
Mr. Softy had a line across the park last year,
Yeah,
so.
that was a tough one to get, but they secured it.
So it should be a really fun night. We're expecting a good turnout. We certainly encourage everyone to patronize the food trucks. It's, you know, sometimes when we have tough weather and smaller crowds, it's tougher for the food trucks. So we're going to have a good turnout, I assume, on Friday with the fireworks. And we certainly encourage everyone to patronize those food trucks so we can keep them coming back in the future.
All right.
Scott,
there, man. Go ahead.
Scott, is Gail handling that park benches down there? Who's handling that?
Well, they were donated and the highway department assembled them, and they put them all down there with the water department. And yeah, Gail is part of that committee who is pushing them to buy a few more for us. So yeah, Gail is.
Do they put like a plaque, like in memory of?
They have not as of yet. I mean, I don't have a problem if they want to put something on the bench that it was donated by the Milton Landing Committee. That'd be nice. But we're getting a few more because we got the pier all done, we got the north pier all completed, and so we want to get benches out there that don't rot. So it seems like when you're next to water and you just have regular wood benches, it doesn't take long for them to rot out. So we're trying to get the metal heavy-duty steel ones, but we're trying to get donations because they are a little expensive. So, and we didn't have them budgeted this year, but we'll see next year, but for now we're trying to get donations, which we have been getting, so which is good. So.
I think that if they're allowed to put a plaque in memory of,
yeah,
and which I could get a few people interested in donating some money for that.
I don't see a problem with that. That'd be cool.
All right, I'll circle back with you on that one.
So I'm gonna end my updates at there, and we have 2 presentations, but I'm gonna skip Dr. Eve first, just because I want to have Eagle Scout Project come up, and I gotta make sure I'm saying your name right. Is it Fernami? I want to make sure I'm saying it. It's Frami. Oh, come on up, man. Come on up, my friend. Like I said, this gentleman, I'm going to call him a very young gentleman. He is very, very respectable in the way he wrote a letter to us as a board and how he wants to present his project to us. And I'm going to have you come up to the speaker right here, the microphone, and tell us about your project. I think we're all excited about it. Because my kids camped out in the same exact spot you camped out, and I understand what you're talking about. Sleeping on the ground is not easy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oluwafemi Mabunori. My rank right now is Life Scout, and my position in Troop 72 is Senior Patrol Leader. I have been scouting now ever since I was a Cub Scout when I was at the age of 7. I was recommended by the former town supervisor to join the local PAC 73. It has been a major honor of being part of scouting both during my Cub Scout and Boy Scout years. However, one of my favorite parts of scouting is, of course, camping. Being the only person in my immediate family who likes the outdoors, I, for one, believe that having such a hobby of going outside and enjoying nature is something that I very much adore, and that's something that many of my peers don't necessarily take advantage of. One of the campgrounds that I fully enjoy is the Kluge Chance Memorial Park campground. With this campground, there are 3 major things that make it a campground in a sense. One thing is that it has lots of open space, which of course makes it easier for people to traverse between tents. 2, it's very forested, which means that there's a lot of shade, which means that should it be a very sunny day, many people won't be out there sweating and being miserable in a sense. However, the third issue the third thing about it is that it's very prone to weather. So let me give you a really mini educational tidbit. Kluge Chance Memorial Park's campground is not as elevated as the landscape around it. As a result, if precipitation does manage to come down on us in the form of rain in this case, it has a tendency to be going off as runoff. Yes, will some water may infiltrate into the ground, most of that water will of course slide off of the little hills surrounding us. This wouldn't be a big issue if that water didn't seep into our tents and make all our equipment wet. The issues from that can range from people being mildly damp, but most of their equipment still being dry, to entire tents being flooded out and our equipment being as wet as we take it out of the laundry. As a result, after seeing this firsthand, we went on our camp out to Kluge Chance Memorial Park in May. I thought that this had to change. As a result, my proposal for my Eagle Scout project is to place down between 4 to 6 tent platforms within the campgrounds area. The inspiration from this actually came from a camp that I went to earlier, known as Curtis S. Reed Scout Reservation, of which they have tents built on elevated platforms, so that way weather conditions, especially when it comes down to issues like rain and runoff, are at the very least mitigated. This will have two main benefits. The first benefit is that, like I said, weather will be mitigated. like I said before, the runoff from the higher elevation around the campsite leads to tents being flooded, equipment being soaked with water, etc. This will help not just scouts but also anyone interested in camping have a more enjoyable experience, especially if the weather is not too favorable. The second main benefit is more of a bonus. We plan to have these tent platforms be bigger than tents themselves. This will of course make pitching up tents really much more easier. Instead of putting stakes into the ground where they could get stuck or they could get lost, etc., people could just tie them onto the tent platforms and make their tents more sturdier.
Thank you, Mom.
We plan to have these tent platforms be between either 8 by 8 or 10 by 10. However, we are also willing to go a little bit smaller than that should need be. Lastly, I wish to talk about mostly about how this will be not necessarily finance, but the project length. According to Scout requirements in the Scout book, we cannot start our Eagle Scout project until 6 months after I become a Life Scout. I just turned into a Life Scout 1 month ago, so I still have 5 months remaining. So the waiting game, of course, is going to be the hardest part of this project. However, we also cannot start building once that time period ends in December because of not only of the weather but also because of the conditions of the soil. As a result, we plan to start this project sometime at the earliest mid to late spring. And we plan to complete this project by late April, early May latest. Thank you for listening, and now it's time for questions, if anyone has any. Yes?
How are you financing the project?
I'm sorry?
How are you financing the project?
Financing it.
How are you buying the materials?
So, in accordance to the Eagle Scout handbook, the town will not be funding it. It will be through fundraisers that I organize myself. So of course the town citizens can of course pitch in with fundraising, give donations, things like that. Any other questions?
I do. I have a question. First of all, awesome job. That was an amazing presentation. You knocked it out of the park. You did wonderful. And I think it looks like a great project. How many platforms are you planning to construct as part of it?
As of right now, we have not went to the park to survey it, so we do not have a definite number. However, the range as of right now, from what I have estimates of from being there on multiple occasions, on camping trips would be between 4 to 6.
Wow. Okay. Great.
I also have a comment. I'd like to reiterate what Charity just said. You did a fabulous job on your presentation. I actually take care of the park, so I'm very familiar with the site that you're talking about where you want to put these. I don't know if you've been there lately, but I just opened up all the Boy Scout trails. I made them about 10 feet wide now and cut in a few more trails for you guys. But on top of that, I just want to let you know this: if the project goes forward and you need me up there to prep areas, because some of the areas are wooded, you just reach out and I'll donate my services to help you guys out.
Any other questions? Yes.
And are they stationary, like they'll always be there, or will you remove them in the wintertime?
That is a good question. So, This has actually been a topic that I was thinking about myself, and I've talked to both my assistant scoutmaster and my head scoutmasters on separate occasions. Initially, I was thinking of having them stationary. However, after looking at Camp Reed's tent platforms just a few weeks ago, I figured that having them standing on concrete bricks and having them be portable would be the best solution, especially considering the fact that we do not know the condition of the soil and if we are able to stake them down and make them stationary. So making them portable might actually be not only more convenient, but also more cost effective in the product in the long run. Thank you.
And would they be made out of wood or some sort of synthetic material?
We plan to make them out of wood.
They look
You
well.
can talk all you want, Mom, don't worry.
Yes, so that's your question regarding growing different types of materials that can be sustainable in the environment. One of the things Supervisor Walker mentioned earlier is whether the weather and wetness and having wood in a watery area in the rot very quickly. So we're looking for alternatives to wood, although the model he's looking at is made out of wood, but with something more sustainable. And like how the first thing he needs to do is to actually go back there to assess the ground. And thank you so much, Councilman Rodrigo, for your offer. So once we get the approval from the board, the next step was to meet up with Tom in order to assess and see if we can possibly clear the area to fit in more platform. Ultimately, we are poised to put in up to 10 is the maximum that Scoutmaster Mark recommended. I'm not sure if you know Mark Chavia, who's the Scoutmaster. So we're looking to put in place between 5 to 10 platforms, depending on the clearing and the space accommodations.
I think it's going to be an awesome addition to the campsite up there and to the park in general and to the public. And especially for the scouts that go there yearly and camp out on currently the wet ground. Like I said, I was also a Cub Scout, Boy Scout. My kids were Cub Scout, Boy Scouts, but none of us made it to Eagle Scout. It's a very rare occurrence in the scouting. It's only actually 1% of scouts actually make it to Eagle. Some of the most prestigious people in our country actually have become Eagle Scouts and gone on to be astronauts, senators, presidents. So it is a very prestigious honor to become an Eagle Scout and to get to this point and to have the dedication to do what you're doing. And I, commend you for doing it, and it's awesome presentation. And I, for one, am happy to give my okay to say, yes, you can do this at the park. So I just need a board vote. We'll just go down the line and yay or nay. Dave?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Manny?
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm a yes, so you're good to go.
I have one quick question.
Okay.
I'd just like to start you off and donate all the material for your first 2 units would be great by 8. I'll pay for and donate all the material for your first 2.
Let's see that. You
And
got
I will go out and fundraise for the rest of it for you and take care of it. So get with me and I'll take care of all your material costs.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tom. That's Legislator Corcoran too, so he's got a lot of people that he could get donations for you. So he helps out a lot of people in the town, and see, you come here, you get your donations. There you go. You're already headed again. You got donations, you got
the land,
labor
already
help. You're
excavated
good to
for
go.
you got the material, you're good. But let me ask you, these are pretty well built. Have you built any of these before, or is this your first project?
That's a good question. This is actually my first question. I'm actually not the most handy of people in my family. I belong to my dad. So, but this is my first project, yes. At least on this scale. However, I have helped with other Eagle Scout projects, specifically with the 2 latest Eagle Scouts, that being Anthony Chalia and Giancarlo Dotto.
Okay, because you're gonna be using saws and you gotta make sure that, know how to use all that equipment.
Of course.
Okay.
One good thing about Eagle Scouts, they all come out and help. Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts.
Well, hopefully you have some
You
carpenters
get the
coming out.
the
and help you
portraits
too.
out there, they'll help, don't worry. They all help, everybody helps, so that's what I admire about the Scouts. It's a really good organization, so. All right, so you are good to go. If you need me to sign anything, I know sometimes you needed to sign it, usually after the fact. Just let me know, and I'll sign off on it for you, and we'll go from there. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Good
so much.
presentation.
See, I wasn't lying. He's an awesome kid, right?
Yeah, he did a great job. That was a great presentation. It's not easy to do.
All right. So our next presenter is Dr. Eve Walter, PhD, from the Public Health Director from Ulster County Department of Health. Give us some general services that provided by the county. Not many people realize that the county actually provide quite a few services, and Dr. Walter's happy to come down here and speak on this. Hopefully I'm bringing up the slideshow correct for you here.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So that's a hard presentation to follow, but I'll do my best. You got it ready and present. Oh, we're almost there.
Where am I? New slideshow.
Nope, not new slide.
How come it's not
I
going?
think.
What's that?
Yeah, the second one.
Where is it?
You can
Delete that.
delete
We'll just
that.
keep going down.
Well, if I'd like it, can you start at the first one though? That's important.
What?
If you go to the first one and then go to the presentation mode, all the way on the right by the slider. Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
All right. We'll skip that. No, you'll have to talk during that slide you added. Nope, go back. Go back. Go back.
Oh, man. You need a clicker.
All right. Pause. Hi, everyone. I'm Eve Walter. I'm the Public Health Director, Ulster County Department of Health. And yeah, I started this position, I think it's about 9 months now. Prior to that, well, not just prior to that, but before that, I was actually a county legislator serving with Legislator Corcoran, and we were actually both on the health committee. I was even chair of the health committee. Were you the vice chair when I was the chair? No. Oh, no. But anyway, what's interesting is even as a legislator, as chair of the health committee, I realized I didn't really know how much the Department of Health did in our county, and I would think I would know in that role. But not until I got into the job did I actually understand really what it did. And so I thought it would be really important to go around to all the towns and villages in our county and just give a brief introduction about what services we do. And then I also have a nice little section. We have summer aides, and I tasked them with creating a few slides that were specifically for each municipality. And it's always exciting to me when we get to their slides because I didn't create them. So we'll also talk about what the Department of Health is doing here in Marlborough. So this is important because it shows that the Department of Health was established here in Ulster County in 1947. So we've been here for a really long time. And we have a mission that guides what we do, which is to protect, promote, and improve the health and well-being of all the residents in Ulster County so that you all can achieve the best quality of life in all stages of life. Next slide. That's yours. Next slide. Okay, so we're actually mandated by New York State Department of Health. So we're essentially a localized branch of New York State Department of Health, and we're almost wholly funded by New York State Department of Health. There's very little of county dollars that go to what we do. And we are guided by some core principles. So we have to fulfill each of these elements which are in public health law. 602, which includes addressing communicable disease, doing chronic disease prevention, environmental health, family health, public health emergency preparedness, education on public health, and development of policies. So everything we do, we have to figure out how it fits into one of those things for the most part. So next slide. So this is all of the different divisions that are within the Department of Health. The ones in orange are directly designed to respond to each of those state mandates. So we have our Division of Patient Services, and I'm going to talk about each of them a little bit soon. We have health promotion, chronic disease prevention, public health preparedness, and environmental health. So those three are specifically related to the state mandates. But also in the Department of Health in Ulster County, we support the Women, Infant, and Children Program, or WIC program, and we also house the Medical Examiner's Office. Next slide. So to talk about each one a little bit specifically, our patient services, we have public health nurses that do adult and child immunizations. They do home visits for high-risk pregnancies. We operate STI, sexually transmitted infection clinics and treatments, as well as TB clinics and treatments. In terms of the home visits, this is where a nurse, we would identify a high-risk pregnancy, and the nurse would go to the house and check on mom and baby just to make sure they're doing okay. Things like our TB clinics, not only do we have those clinics, but if anyone who has tuberculosis in our county, our nurses, they have to be isolated for an extended amount of time and get medication every day. Our nurses will go to the person's house every single day and deliver that care during the whole course of their isolation. Next slide. Our Women, Infant, and Children, or WIC program, provides nutrition for mothers and children up to the ages of 5. That includes SNAP enrollment. We also have breastfeeding educators, and we do nutritional education. What's also great about the WIC program is people who we enroll, they get a special app, and they can go to a supermarket and scan QR codes and identify while they're on the aisles which foods are eligible, rather than having to go in front of a cashier and find out that some of the foods they've selected are not okay. And this is basically staffed by a team of qualified nutritionists. Next slide. Environmental health is one of our biggest divisions. It's about 25 individuals at this point. We protect the public water sources and improve water and septic plans and developments. We ensure safe food preparations, like your restaurants, the vendors, the event that they're having. Our people are going to have to be out there to make sure that those food trucks are okay. We ensure safe children's camps, public pools and beaches, safe migrant farm worker housing, mobile home parks, and temporary residence, which are typically hotels, motels, and that kind of thing. Next. We also have a pretty robust lead poisoning prevention program, rather. We have several different ways that we identify people who are at risk. One is anyone can just contact us and say, we're concerned about the home we're living in, and we can send people out there to test it. Typically, it's homes that were built before 1980, and we can help identify. That is volunteer. However, it's important to know that if the Department of Health does identify there's positive lead, then it becomes mandated that it gets corrected, and then we don't settle that back until it's fixed. So, and then there's 3 ways now. The second way is any child who has an elevated lead level that's been identified through their doctor, we are told in the Department of Health, and then we have nurses and a lead team. So the lead team goes and does the surveillance and environmental review of the house and the home and the space around it, while the nurses work with the parents and the child until the child is cleared. The third is actually Kingston-based, but there's a lead rental registry program. So all in Kingston, all of the households built before 1980 that are rentals will be automatically required for us to inspect. We also do things, we respond to rabies and insect-related potential illnesses. This is the fun part. I'm walking down Department of Health and someone is like, James, don't forget there's a cat head in the freezer. So that's the kind of conversation you have at Department of Health. So we do, if people are concerned about a rabid animal, we do 2 parts. One, yes, we collect the heads only. That's the only thing we need to test it, and we'll test it for rabies. But also, if the person believes that if they've been bit by a rabid animal, they can go to, unfortunately, our contract is only with Westchester Medical Center, Health Alliance, meaning that you can't go to the other hospitals. But someone from our department, you contact them, they talk it through and figure out whether it's likely or not likely, and then we're the ones who actually cover the cost of a rabies vaccination, and it's pretty expensive. People contact us because they're worried about ticks, and we'll talk about what the tick looks like, how long it's been on. We do test ticks, but it's not diagnostic for the person, because even if a tick comes out positive of a disease, it doesn't mean the person has it. So we test it just for surveillance purposes, but we do work with the people on how to check for symptoms and what to do if they have them. We also regulate illegal tobacco, which is sale of tobacco to minors. We actually do a regular sting operation. We have a young person who goes in and tries to buy the tobacco, and if it's sold, we immediately issue a violation to them, and if they do that repeatedly, we will shut the place down. There's also illegal vape sales that we control, so there are several types of vapes that are not allowed, the certain flavored vapes and ones by the company Juul. And so our people will go in there, and if those are being sold, we'll be issuing violations to them as well. Next. We do a bunch with chronic health promotion, chronic disease prevention. We have a few coalitions where we work with agencies across the county, mostly related to heart health. Also, we have an initiative called Healthy at Every Size that looks at chronic disease prevention through our latest campaign is called Movement is Medicine. We do media education awareness. We have radio, TV, billboards, buses, social media. I think right now our Movement is Medicine is on the buses around Ulster County. So if you see a yellow on the side of a bus, just stop and take a look at it. We do presentations at fairs, events, organizations, and schools. So if you ever want us to come to your school, we can do if there's an event. We will be at Ulster County Fair, which is coming up in a few days. And what's important to know is it's going to be very hot. And at the Department of Health booth, we have 3,000 cooling towels and some water, so you can come and learn about the heat vulnerability, and you can get yourself a nice cooling towel. We also have nurses there who will do blood pressure readings, and if you are elevated or at risk, we can send you home with a home monitor. So come find us. We're usually in the county row, so it's us and the sheriff, and those people are all nicely located along the edge. So come see us over there at the fair. Next. So public health preparedness is a really big thing. So we're in partnership with Ulster County Emergency Response in terms of preparing for any kind of emergency or emerging things. So that would include, might be an emerging disease that we've never heard of before, or it could be a vaccine preventable disease that individuals are not protected against. But there's also things related to environment, like climate. If there's flooding or fires, that we had the smoke that recently, it might not be recently, it's hard to tell with this weather, but from the Canadian fires impacting our air. The Department of Health comes from a different perspective than emergency management. Emergency management, for example, if there's flood or power outage, they need to make sure that everyone's in a safe place. We need to make sure that if you have insulin or another medication in a refrigerator that needs to be refrigerated, that your medication is taken care of, or if you have a vulnerability that you are particularly going to be taken care of. So we kind of work together in a partnership. Next. Our medical examiner's office does investigations of death that might affect public interest, such as sudden, unexpected, and unexplained deaths. This includes going to death scenes, performing autopsies, and sometimes needing to go to court. Yeah. So now you, town of Marlborough. So what do we do for you? Next, let's see. So food service, so you have 23 food service vendors, but that might have been before this event. Who knows? Maybe the number went up today. This probably was done about a week ago. 22 are restaurants and one's a mobile food unit, so we know that you have more. Okay, next. For children's camps, temporary residence, and swimming pools, you have one municipal day camp, the town of Marlborough Rec, which we permit. There's a temporary residence, Buttermilk Falls Inn, which we permit. Often these kinds of places fall in lots of things. A place like Buttermilk, we're checking their restaurant, we're checking their pool, we're checking a lot of their rooms. And then you have 2 swimming pools that we inspect. Next. In terms of farm, labor housing, and mobile homes, you have home to 17 migrant farm housing facilities that we inspect, and 2 mobile home parks, Shaler Rentals and Strawberry Acres. Water and septic. So in the past year, Department of Health has permitted 2 water systems and 28 septic systems in Marlborough. And yeah, so just to close it out, basically there's 4 key priorities that we have in the Department of Health right now. One is to improve trust in public health. Trust has deteriorated in public health over the last, I'd say, 5 years. COVID did not help this situation. And a lot of people got lots of different messaging, and it was very confusing. And we need to be there for our people. And so we need you all to trust us, so that if something emergent happens that we want to help keep you safe, we need you to believe that we're there for you, so that when we're suggesting things to you, you understand that we're there to have your back. Part of that is improve awareness of our programs. The more you know what we do, the more you trust us, but also so that you can get these services. We know that there are people who can be eligible for WIC who aren't getting it. We know people who might need these immunizations or the home health care or other kinds of support that we offer that they don't know they can come to us. So we want to really make sure, and that's part of what this is all about, me coming around to towns. We want to identify and meet unmet needs. We have a gigantic county. So maybe you know things that we're not hitting on that we should. Maybe you have a particular at-risk population that we should be aware of. We are doing a pretty robust community needs assessment right now, collecting data on chronic conditions, hospitalizations, death, really at a granular level by zip code so that we get a sense. But we are always open to hearing where we're missing and what we can do. We might not have the money to do it yet, but maybe we can find a grant or find some way to be able to provide those services. Someone said recently the idea of being able to visit the homes of senior citizens and assess it for fall risks. And I was like, that makes very good sense. I think that we can find a way of doing that. And then the last is to be prepared to protect our county's health. So preparedness is a very big deal. We want to be ready before things happen. One of the things that has come up at a conference I recently went to is departments of health working with municipalities on how do you make like a community center space a potential preparedness space. So, you know, should you have a massive power outage or something's happening and you need to pull everyone in one spot, what would need to be there from a public health perspective? Maybe includes CPR kits and AEDs and other kinds of things that could be present in that location. And so we'd be happy to work with any municipality on how to make their spaces kind of emergency ready, as the case may be. And that's it, unless you have any questions.
Joan, you got a question?
Where are the swimming pools in Marlborough that you're monitoring?
Great question.
So one of them would be, I would assume, in Buttermilk. So like I said, sometimes the same place we have multiple different people inspecting different things. So there is definitely a pool there, although I know it was closed for a while. Maybe it's back open.
That's true.
And then, do you have a camp or a town pool? Not
don't
School,
have-
the high school probably.
Oh, maybe at the high school. Yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna have a water park.
Yes, yeah.
Not yet. We used to have the swimming in the pond for probably 30 years ago, but not recently.
Yeah.
But
So it's
yeah,
probably part of the hotel.
we're well aware of the health department and the camp. Tina loves you guys. Wink, wink. No, no. But you guys do a great job overseeing everything. I think the main reason I really wanted you to come is because I try to do this with every department at the county if we can. I don't think a lot of people realize the trove of information and services that the county provides. And, I always tell people, we go to the seniors, I tell them all the time, go on the Ulster County website, and there's a link to every department, and pretty much everything you've shown here, you could pretty much look up and get ideas and questions to, or phone numbers to, or emails to ask your questions. It's just, I don't think everybody realizes the services that we all pay for, right? We're paying for it in our taxes, so you should use them if you need them. And I really appreciate you coming down and taking your time out to give us this information. And, you know, as anybody else, one thing I would like to ask, I've always asked this at the supervisors meeting. I don't know if you're the person to ask or not, but why doesn't the county have a municipal-wide healthcare system that we could all buy into?
Oh, well, why don't you ask the legislator?
I've asked him.
I
Well,
mean,
because that's one of our biggest
that's an
expenses
Yeah.
as a municipality. I know the school districts go through BOCES, and they get a big discount because they're all in one group.
and has it not been brought up in the supervisors meeting with the
We-
executive?
We brought it up. The county executive's not been there, but her reps are always there. We never get a clear, straight answer. I'm just curious. Because if every municipality was in one group, obviously we get a better rate,
Absolutely.
and we could maybe insure more people. Because I think sometimes people get scared at some of the costs. Although with municipalities, we pay majority of the costs. But
Right.
it's still a cost for new employees, pay a percentage. So just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a very good idea. I think you should roll with it.
Start with the ambulance, right? So
Well, that's,
Well, the ambulance, I can
you
understand.
don't have to
They're not
start. You
by
can do two
state.
things at once there, legislator
By
Corcoran.
state law, they're not allowed to make their own ambulance services, but I think as a group, we could
Yeah.
join forces for
Well,
healthcare.
I mean, I imagine if all of the supervisors sort of got together and put a proposal, I wonder, if they're all unified in that,
Yeah,
that might
I
be
can talk
the
to
barrier.
Rich. I'm gonna bring it up again with Rich at our next meeting and see if he wants
Yeah.
to push it a little further, so.
Right, because all you need is a few who don't want to do it, and then it
Yeah,
makes
that's
it
what
hard.
happens. There's a
Yeah.
few that don't, but that's always happens. Everybody can't agree on everything.
Yeah.
So, anybody else have any other questions? Okay, well, thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very much, Doctor. And I will give you your, see, it worked. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let me get back into my, come on. There we go. Didn't want to come out. All right. So this is the time of the meeting, we have comments specifically just on the agenda, not public comments, but any comments on the agenda as listed on the agenda. I don't see any, so reports of committees, does anybody on the board have any questions on any of the reports that were submitted to the board from our committees? And anything further from the rec committee at all? And the CAC committee, are you going to say something, Mary Beth?
Oh, yes.
See, I'm reminding you out there.
Yeah, thank you. Is it, okay, time for the report. Nikki Simonovsky asked me to deliver the CAC report, which I am going to do. Thank you. Okay, report to the town board. We are disappointed to report that the Marlborough Central School District has rejected the proposal for a cost-free EV fast charging station on the school property. Our month's work centered on preparing and delivering comments to the planning board in regards to environmental questions raised by the environmental assessment form from the Orchards on the Hudson project. Our comments were delivered to a room filled with Marlborough citizens on Monday, July 21st, 2025. The verbalized concerns of the CAC, which had already been presented in written form, are still not publicly answered. Namely, did the Department of Conservation and the Department of Transportation submit written responses to issues raised by the CAC? Closing the public hearing means that neither the CAC nor private citizens will have their questions answered. For the third time, the CAC suggests that for projects of this magnitude, there should be an opportunity for the public to hear from developers at the onset of the process. Their ideas and interests could assist the developer as they would learn of common concerns before expending time and money in project proposals. When the public is given welcoming ears, factual information, honest replies, and full explanations of proposed developments, they are more reassured that such a project will be of benefit to the town. This was echoed by Mr. Gerantine and Mr. DeMarco in their public comments, as they suggested public buy-in would be much easier if citizens were allowed to present ideas and concerns prior to the approach of final approval. Perhaps our words magnified by theirs will find your support. Respectfully submitted, Nikki Simonovsky, and this was also CC'd to the planning board members. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Do you know why the school rejected that EV?
I do not know. Do you know, Scott? I don't know.
Because because the deal that we got was a little different than the deal they got because of some of the incentives, and it was going to cost them a little money, and I think that's why they chose not to do
They were
it.
gun shy.
Yep, they were gun shy on doing it.
Escalate
So,
cost.
I mean, ours is moving forward. Ours, we're going to be having EV charging stations at the Cluett Chance Park, right off of 9W. They should be starting that project, I'm hoping, next month or so. But I'm going to follow up on something, though, that the CAC you just reported on is, 2 years ago, we did have a public meeting with every entity involved for this project. We do have those with all the projects now. I implemented that 3 years ago when I first took office. Every entity involved was involved with it. And then we also had a follow-up one within the last 3 months or so, again with the fire departments, our engineers, our attorneys, their engineers, public were in the audience to listen. There was 3 different times that public comments were submitted to the planning board via emails and letters. Every single one of those were answered. So I just feel like it's a little disingenuous to say that the public didn't have time to actually put comments into this project. This project has been going on for 3 years, and there's probably been more comments submitted on this project by the public than any that's ever been in the town of Marlborough. And I can tell you every single one of them was answered by the client and the project. So that's just my follow-up on that. So we will have to agree to disagree as we both move forward. But we're definitely want public comment. That's why I implemented those types of hearings early on. So like you said, you want to get all the things out of the way up front so that when they get to the end result, we don't have issues. So anyway, anybody on the open board discussions? Anybody have any other additional discussions you want to talk about tonight that we haven't talked about?
No, good.
No. So I have a couple correspondence. The first one is a nice one here. This is on Old Post Road, the bridge that was damaged in actually February of last year. Unfortunately, this is where a gentleman lost his life in an accident off this bridge. And this was to Supervisor Corcoran. Thank you for the great work the Highway Department did repairing the bridge. Not only was the damage incurred from a fatal auto accident addressed, but also was the addition of a new retaining wall. No possible future accidents will result in the terrible loss that took place here. Mr. Erlangi's team did an exceptional job blending the new retaining wall with the bridge's original stonework. All first class. Yours truly, Jeffrey and Paula Gilman. And I want to also thank Lenny Scutoro with the Highway Department. Lenny Scutoro always helps us out with our masonry work that the Highway Department does. And this project took a long time because it was an insurance claim and a death was involved. And they only played out a maximum of $25,000. And this was really probably a $40,000 job at least or more. And the Highway Department took it on with Lenny, and we were able to get it in just slightly over that $25,000, which was a miracle. So we did get it done. But thank you to them. Great letter. I concur. This one says, "Hi Danielle. which is our deputy town clerk. We hope to see you at the senior picnic on August 14th. Attaches the application for use of the train station and the certificate of insurance for Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. The Lions Club requests a fee for usage to be waived. Thank you. All the best, Frank. So I just need a motion by the board to waive the fee for the Lions Club for the use of the train station on September 3rd. I may need a motion.
I'll make the motion to waive the fee for the train station for the Lions Club on September 3rd.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All right. Thank you. You'll call them up, Kyle? Yeah, I'm gonna go back, saw that myself. Thank you. Yep, we have a advertisement for the Board of Assessment Reviews position. You know, we actually sent a letter to the person whose position is open, ask them to reapply, but by law, we have to open it up to the public, of course, and we have to advertise. So I need a motion to advertise for the Board of Board of Assessment Review position.
I will make the motion to advertise for the open position on the Board of Assessment Review.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, so I had sent you guys a email about the solar panel project, and of course I probably took it off here. And so the solar panel project's been going back and forth now for about 2 years now. This is a solar panel project that we're going to put on the community center to offset our electrical costs. Legislator Corcoran was able to get us a matching grant of up to $100,000 for the 200, but yeah, we thought we were going to have to spend 100. Correct, 200. For the solar panel project there, and we've been going back and forth with how far we were going to go with it. We were going to put them on the front, we were going to put them on the back. We're planning on putting them on the back only. Let me just bring up the right email because I wanted the public to see this. I had it up and I X'd it out. Chuck, there's Chuck. So it's come time that we're going to hopefully move forward with this. The project came in less than we originally anticipated because you could see here in this picture, we're only doing the back side, the east side of the community center, and that's only because we don't really want the front side to look all filled up with the solar panels and take away from the beautiful look of the community center. It's going to give us quite a bit of energy. Just to give you some outlook here, these are some of the costs, but what it really cost us comes down to here. So the whole cost of this project is $192,000, $192,696. There's a NYSERDA grant that goes with this. There's a direct pay for ITC, that's a federal grant, and yes, the federal grant money is still there, but it's only there to the end of the year. That's why we're looking to do this now. Because with the new administration in Washington, they're cutting a lot of this Green Initiative projects grants, but it's there to the end of the year. So when you add up all those discounts, it comes down to $123,922, which is a 50-50 grant. So we would be getting roughly $63,000 from the county, and then it would cost us roughly about $63,000 overall out of the 192. So you guys have any reservations or?
My question is, what are we currently spending a month on electricity, which might be in here?
Well, they're only going off old numbers, so
Okay.
they really can't. I can tell you right now, it fluctuates, but we're roughly around $2,500 to $3,000 a month in electric costs. It's quite a bit, and electric just keeps going up. So, yeah, it's an expense up front. It's a payoff. Is probably with the grants and everything. I think the payoff's going to be a lot less. I think within less than 10 years, we'll probably pay off what we have. But then these are 30-year panels, supposedly. They're
That
newer,
was my next
updated
question.
panels.
Okay.
You know, if you believe what they tell you and they last, up to 30 years, I don't know. I'm not an expert in solar panels. But this includes all the electrical hookup. It also includes a new meter, because we have to put an outside meter. Currently, we have an indoor meter so that price is included in here. So it's, soup to nuts, all done, complete. So, but that's what it is, yeah.
Okay.
So that's going to be, I wanted to discuss that earlier, and I forgot, but are you guys, so I need a motion by the board if we want to move forward with this project, because I also got to tell the county if we're moving forward with utilizing the money. So anybody want to make a motion to move forward? And I'll ask for a second. And if not,
I'll make a motion to move forward with the solar panels.
anybody want to second it? I'm going to second it. So all in favor? I say aye.
Aye.
You could vote the way you want.
I'm undecided.
Okay.
Aye.
Dave says aye. Sherrod is a no.
Aye.
Okay. Sherrod is an aye. So we got 4 ayes. So we're going to move forward with it. I will call Chuck tomorrow and let him know, and I will let them at the county know that we're going to move forward, and we'll start the process. So he's going to start fairly quickly. So just wanted to let you guys know that. All right. So now, favorite time, my public comments. Anybody out there got public comments? Come on up. Well, you press the button on the front. There you go.
Is this great? Okay. Dear members of the Marlborough Town Board and Marlborough community, many of whom I hope will be watching this tomorrow. My name is Danielle Broza, and I live at 20 Mount Rose Road in Marlborough. Lately, we have heard a lot about who we are and what we're doing, and legal actions taken by the town that we are somehow responsible for, none of which are true. In the last week, we've been threatened with physical violence, verbally assaulted with profanity, filmed over our fence, had our livestock and farming equipment tampered with, all in the vicinity of our 3-year-old. This has become too dangerous and ostracizing to ignore, and it has gone too far. I will not wait for someone to get hurt before speaking up, mainly, again, because most of what we've been told about ourselves is simply and provably false. So I'd like to clear up a few things. We are not NYC developers planning to build a 200-room hotel in the middle of town. In fact, we have no plans to build any new structures. We hope to restore and maintain the property that we call home. We're not a bar, a festival site, or an Airbnb. We don't blast music every weekend until the wee hours of the morning. We don't cram 400 people on our property in tents, and we are not currently plaintiffs in any lawsuit against the town or its members, nor do we have any intention of harming any legitimate business in this town. Here's who we are. We are your neighbors. We moved here 5 years ago. We got married here. We have a child here. We donate to local causes. We patronize local businesses. Our property is currently a working farm and equestrian facility, as is our right. We do host a few ancillary events like many of the other similar properties in town. Like those businesses, we face a similar set of hardships. A microclimate that doesn't care what you're trying to grow, rising taxes, a busy main road through town, and we are currently defendants in an action brought against us by the town of Marlborough. Defendants. Sadly, instead of having conversations, we've been met with antagonism and harassment. We've been told over the last few days, and because my 3-year-old's here, I won't actually use the words, to get the F out of here to sell your shit and move away, and to stop effing things up for the whole town. While we certainly understand the anger of being unfairly targeted, rather than pack our bags, I offer you this. If you feel that your business or well-being has been affected by us personally, we invite you to talk with us. Learn the facts, because I promise you, you don't have them. Ask questions. Look at our paperwork. And most importantly, hear about our plans to offer our space to the community for pickleball tournaments, tennis lessons, swim classes, high school proms, birthday parties, and summer camps. We would love to share that with you. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come on up.
My name's Ken Stenger. I think some of you know who I am. I'm here because I'm Daniel's lawyer. Not here to argue the case. Absolutely not here to do that. We have that courtroom. I was away this week. I have to take a vacation.
Ken, can you go on this mic? Just put the mic on, Mike. There, Ken. There you go.
Okay. So what I wanted to make clear is I'm not here to argue the case. We have a proceeding in front of Judge Bryant. We'll make our arguments there. I'm here because I hadn't taken a vacation for 5 years, and I was away last week, and I got 2 startling emails from Danielle as to events that occurred at her house and events that occurred at other locations involving folks. I'm so sorry about this. Go ahead. Jesus. Okay, and I'm not good with my phone either.
They always come on at the worst time.
So what I wanted to say was I got these 2 phone calls, and the phone calls were emails, and they were tough. And I apologize for this stupid thing. And so I came home. I got home Saturday around 3 in the morning, drove out to see Danny Sunday afternoon and talk to her. And this seems to be what's happening, is that we've reached an agreement in front of the judge where we were going to file some papers with the building department to get an opinion from the building inspector. I wrote those papers. I filed them. And part of our thing was to say, look, here are 3 examples of 3 other venues in this town that have similar business operations with occasional weddings, whether they're business or not, but similar. And that was all part of a legal argument. And suddenly now, and I understand it, and I don't criticize or offer an opinion one way or the other as to whether or not it's appropriate for the town to tell these venues that I've identified, you know, you can't do that anymore. That's another issue altogether. But what is happening out there is that venues not mentioned in this letter are approaching my client and saying to my client, it's because of you we're getting closed. Now, I'm not a party to those conversations. I haven't spoken to any of those venue operators, so I'm not here to say to anybody here who's done what or what has been done. But I know what Danny just told you is happening. And I would like to just take the letter that I submitted to the building department, which would confirm that I've only spoken about 3 venues in this town, and I'd like to make it part of this record so that if folks come to town hall and say, you know, listen, I'm told I'm being shut down because of this litigation, they can look at this letter and they'll see they're not mentioned in
I
it.
don't have a problem submitting the letter. I mean, just so you know, and again, you know, as this is a legal case, we can't really talk about anything, but
don't want to
we
do
were
that.
that letter was foiled for by a person. And that's as a town, and they could file for anything. We talked to our attorney, and they said to release the letter.
It is
So
fileable.
I will put it right on the website if you like. That's up to you.
I would just like it available if somebody called, because we all know how filing works. We all do that.
I know.
I would just like to put an end to this, what is happening now, and the best way to do that is to let folks know that whatever's being said out there
Well, we can't control what people say,
I'm
obviously.
not here to say to you that
So-
you can, nor am I sitting here
But I
saying
will
that
definitely
anybody's
make the
doing it.
letter available for anybody that wants to see it. I don't have no problem with it. I mean, that's why, when the person was, I could tell you the person came in here very angry, demanding that we give them that letter. And at first, we did not. I could tell you that. And then we called the attorney. I was on vacation. I was in Costa Rica on the phone.
Mr.
So trust me, I know all about being on vacation and being disturbed. I have no problem with it, but it's a foiable request, and we released it because they were demanding. And I could tell you it wasn't pleasant for the people that they were demanding it to. So I will definitely make it available.
I'd just like to enter this
Yep,
into the
just give
minutes.
it to Colleen, and she'll enter it into the
And then
minutes.
if anybody comes in and says, look, I'm on that letter, they can look and they can see that they're not.
Yep, absolutely.
Because if this is going beyond that letter, this is something I have
Yeah.
nothing to do with, nor does my client. And if it's being said it's going beyond this letter, it needs to stop. That's my only point, and thank you for hearing me, and
Absolutely.
appreciate the fact that you will put this in the minutes. I'm going to give it to the town clerk.
Sure.
And anybody who wants to come to town hall and ask the town clerk can look at this letter and read it and understand that they are not mentioned in it. And therefore, whatever they're doing with the town, or whatever the town's doing with them, if anything, because I didn't speak to these folks, but I can tell you that they've spoken to my clients. And they have not spoken to my clients in a way that any of us would like to be spoken to. So thank you very much for giving
Thank you.
Danny the opportunity to be heard and allowing me to
Absolutely.
be heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other public comments? Okay, we're going to close public comments. You guys don't have to stay no more. You've been here. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go, go, go.
Thank you so much for your
No, thank you. I appreciate you staying and listening to everything.
Honestly, this was my first town meeting, and I found it very interesting. Thank you for all the work that you all do.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go on to resolutions then. All right. Resolution 69 toward the landfill cap repair bid. So that's another one.
Spending the money tonight.
Where's the letter that I had? See, I X'd out everything and now the letter went away. Let me bring up our
Good.
agenda
look,
minutes.
Look what just happened. My device just died.
So before I read that, I just want to, so we had hired, a while back, we hired Plumley Engineering to work with Russ Knoll, Noel Russ, on our land cap repair. Haven't done that. The DEC, EPA, they got more involved, the DEC, with this project, which of course, once the DEC gets involved, it becomes a more expensive project. And they found some other things wrong with our landfill that had to be addressed, meaning venting, pumping systems, leakage, more repairs to the cap, and it became a 6-month project that should have been done in like 2 months. But anyway, this was the letter we got back from our engineer that's been overseeing the project for us. Following review of the 2 bids submitted for the cap repair, the former town of Marlborough landfill located at 20 Bailey's Gap Road in Highland, New York. Plumley Engineering PC recommends the town accept the attached proposed submitted by Argenio Brothers, Inc., Jordan ELOIPE, Premier Construction Service, Hudson Valley, Inc., who provides construction administration services on behalf of Argenio Brothers, Inc., has confirmed Argenio Brothers prepared to begin work around August 25th. Please let us know if you have any questions regards additional information and formal documentation proceed with the award. So that was their recommendation, is to move forward with this. Another issue with this, even getting bids, was extremely hard because it's technically a small project for these people that normally do these projects. They're normally working on $20 million projects. But again, the DEC came in and, as you guys saw the numbers, they're not pretty, but they are what they are. So it has to be done because the DEC is requiring us to get it done. There is no real option here. But this is Resolution 69. Supervisor Clerk proposes the following, whereas Plumley Engineering had prepared the bid documents for the Town of Marlborough landfill cap repair, and whereas the Town of Marlborough Town Clerk's Office, at the direction of the Town Board, advertised for the bids, and whereas by 2 p.m. July 14, 2025, the closure and receipt of bids, the Office of the Town Clerk received 2 bids, and whereas the following bids were received: Argenio Brothers, Inc., $121,121. Land Remediation, Inc., $184,100. Whereas Plumley Engineering had received the bids for completeness and all references were checked, and whereas it is recommendation of Plumley Engineering that the award for the landfill cap repair be given to Argenio Brother, Inc. in the amount of $121,121, and moves for its adoption.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Unfortunately. That's a tough one. Okay, here we're getting an officer part-time at least. He's not resigning. Resolution 70, to appoint a part-time police officer for the purpose of attending the police academy. Supervisor Cork proposes the following. And I know Caden very well, so this is a very good pick here, and hopefully he ends up staying with us long-term. So whereas the Chief of Police requests the appointment of Caden Cabrera as part-time police officer for the purpose of attending Ulster County Police Academy, now therefore it be resolved that Caden Cabrera be appointed as part-time police officer to attend the Ulster County Police Academy effective immediately. Moves for its adoption.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you very much. Manny, you're up.
Okay, it's 8:16. I make a motion to adjourn.
I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.